Mm-hmm.
I just hope Nuke's not going to get blown away to Oz.
Yeah, I hope not.
You guys ever call a customer service line and get like an automated voice, but while you're waiting for them and you're like, it's waiting to process what you said, it does fake typing sounds?
Yes, all the time.
I want to stab it. If it was a person, I'd stab it. I hate it. I heard you clicking. I was like, oh.
I prefer that than the weird, like, what is it? The elevator music that sounds like it's being recorded through a speaker of another phone. Like, where is this coming from? All righty. Tweet it out.
There it is.
Are you there, Zo? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I can't tell if it's like freezing or not.
Nope. Just very focused. Laser light focused.
Delmonico, right? That's how you spell it?
Oh, he gone.
He gone.
You spell it UNEMPLOY.
Delmonicon.
UNEMPLOYED. That's how you spell it.
Dude, that guy was the starting outfielder for the White Sox for the majority of last year.
We don't talk about that. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, June 14th. You have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawoski. They call me Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe. Yeah, I got a lot of names. And then with me this week, as always, Aldo Soto. What's up, Aldo?
Since our last talk, the Cubs finally took our advice and they signed Craig Kimbrell. So we know that Theo and the boys are listening tonight too.
Yeah, what's up, Theo? And out in Vegas, battling that summer traffic. What's up, Kevin?
What's up? Just hoping that the Benjamin Button experiment with Mike Montgomery will finally come to a soft end.
We all hope. So today's show, we're going to talk about some trade deadline with the White Sox. Should they buy buyers, sellers, stay put, what we think is going to go on there. We're going to talk a little bit of All-Star game. We're going to talk about the aforementioned Kimbrell signing that Theo listened to us about. So all that, and then if you listen to the show, you know by now when we say what's going to be on the show and then what's actually on the show, usually it's two very different things. We're missing Matanuco tonight, holding it down in Jersey. Hopefully he doesn't get Wizard of Oz. I guess there's some really bad storms out there, so he's corralling the Nuco children with just keeping them safe, probably teaching them how to bunt while they're in the basement or something. So hopefully
it's all a facade. He got in trouble for all that Skinamax talk.
Oh,
we want to make sure that we're very clear too that he's going to the fantasy land of Oz, not the HBO TV series Oz.
I'm glad we're making all this clear. So with all this being said, let's tap this keg. This show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you're going to the website and the app, Sports Mockery. Download the app, turn on push notifications. You'll be the first one to know any breaking news in Chicago or anywhere in sports. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. And it's also provided to you by TickBlitz, tickblitz.com. Now, normally we do a tickblitz.com stat of the week, but instead we're going to do fun fact of the week. The fun fact is Hideki Nomo still pitches. He just recently retired, but he was on the mound at least 250. Like, it looked like two of them. It was awesome. We'll tweet out the video. It's hilarious. So that's your Tick Blitz, the more you know rainbow of the week. So, all right. The White Sox are, at the time of this recording, tied with the Yankees, but also 2 games under 500, pretty much where they've been all season. Yeah.
That was that GIF or picture that you put after they won on Sunday, I think, when they're still like 1 or 2 games back of 500, where like the lava is 500,
yeah,
getting to 500.
The floor is getting to 500 because they just they get right there, and I tweeted something out. The White Sox have a ridiculous schedule for the month of June. Every team they're playing is either currently going to be in the playoffs, a division leader, or right
About 500.
Yes. So it's a tough stretch. I mean, they start out with 4 games against the Yankees. At least that's at home. And I mean, they do play, as although you pointed out, they do play the Yankees pretty tough. They have all year, which is, decent. Then they go to the north side for 2 games. Cubs are back and forth first place team. Then they play the scorching hot Texas Rangers down in scorching hot Texas. So that's 3 games. Then they go to Boston for 3 games. And then they get the first place Minnesota Twins at home for 3 games. Come on, dude. If you were playing a video game, this is like you're going to lose settings. Like, this is unbelievable.
Not only that, but you have, let's see, 1, 2, that's 2 guys in the rotation that like haven't started in forever. And the one guy, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. Just call him the Big O or something.
I like that.
And then you get Manny Banuelos, who like had a solid start his last time out, but he's been not good.
And Nova's the coin flip every time. You don't know which Nova you're getting. Good Nova, bad Nova. Like tonight, we got like middle of the road Nova as of right now with the Yankees. He's already letting it run with a wild pitch, and he gave up with a 2-run bomb to Gardner. It's just like, yeah, I don't know.
It's like I think it's what now, 64 games, 65 games. Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
They're a couple of games under. I mean, they've been. I think we can admit it. They've been a lot better than we thought compared to how the season started. They had Irvin Santana as their 5th starter. I mean, they've had the injuries with Rodon. And then you have like Dylan Covey coming in, and you have Yonder Alonso, who's still terrible and in the lineup way too often.
Bad.
But they're a lot better than I think we all thought to this point. They have a couple of relievers who've been great.
Relievers have been good. Nobody thought McCann was going to be an all-star.
Right, James McCann out of nowhere. Moncada, Elo's coming on. Tim Anderson's like all-star candidate.
Right.
It's like where are you at right now in terms of expectations? Let's not go the whole year because we don't know. I mean, this pitching, I just don't know if it can hold up. But like from now, the next like 7 weeks to the All-Star break. What do you to the trade deadline, not the All-Star break, to the trade deadline.
Within 5 games of 500 on either side, under or over. I think they're just going to be in that zone the rest of the year. And that's even with like Cease coming up and whatever else they do. I think it's either going to be 5 games below or 5 games above. So like that 10-game buffer zone.
I mean, if they get 5 games above, they're really in the wild card picture.
I mean, well, for as hard as June is, sorry, Kev, for as hard as June is for them, July is a way better schedule. So like, it feel like they're getting it out of their system right now. July is not easy by any sense. I mean, but like, it's not nearly as tough. Like their interleague play is against like the Marlins. They got the Cubs again. Who else? I think we play Kansas City for the 100th time. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, you need as many Kansas City games on the schedule as possible.
I mean, really, honestly, every game. But what do you really honestly think? Like for you, what would be considered a successful this minefield that they're about to go through? Because they just took step number 1 into the demilitarized zone right now, and they're figuring out, are they really legit or are they a pretender? So what would you say is a successful stretch with this? I mean, it really is a brutal stretch. So what's successful?
What is it? 4, 6, 9, 12, 15 games. 15? Out of these 15 games, you give me 6 W's?
6 and 9, nice.
I'm not mad. Yeah, nice. I'm not mad at that though.
Well, they just finished that stretch where we talked about a couple weeks back. After Minnesota, it was that 14-game stretch where they're facing competition that wasn't that good, and they went 9-5.
Oh my dear God! First pitch of the ball gun by Clayton Kershaw. Get out. Gone. Schwarber.
Schwarber's on.
First pitch from Kershaw. It's not even the playoffs, and he sucks.
I have to put on the reggaeton horn in this very moment.
God.
You know what?
Yeah, that's a bomb. Dead center.
Since both games are going on right now, like let's just do that anytime anyone scores.
Just reggaeton.
Good or bad. We're just gonna do the reggaeton horn anytime.
So, all right. So they win. Let's say they go 6-9 in this nice with this trip.
Oh God, that's down in the zone.
And we
So
get
that would put them 5 games under 500.
right. And so again, they're gonna stay right, and then they get.
And they're gonna get hot.
One guy that I do want to shout out that I don't think gets enough credit, and he is definitely overachieving this season, is Lurie Garcia. He is playing a very good center field. He's clutch hitting, where like Yolmer gets his base hits, and everyone's like, "Oh, maybe Yolmer's not that bad." Yolmer sucks, and if there's a running and scorer position, he turtles. Lurie on the other side, he's had a handful of highlight catches in center field. He's covering a lot of ground out there for the Sox because our whole right fielder situation. Tilson looks very nervous every time there's a fly ball hit to him. And
he's like me in the outfield.
Yeah, he's
like, don't hit the ball to me, please.
And Eloy's still a work in progress. So you got Lurie out there basically just patrolling it one man, and he's not 276 this year. He's not, but it's just he's underappreciated, is what I'm saying. Especially for $1.5 million, like it's not bad. 275, 311, 354. And he's got 3 homers, 7 stolen bases with 20 RBIs. So
very nice.
It's a service, especially for $1 million. I'll take that guy all day. And he's basically just holding a spot for La Petera.
For John Jay. John Jay is on the road back. He's rehabbing, AA, AAA.
Yeah, and he went like 4 for 16.
How pissed off are Sox going to be when it's going to – because we know the tweet is coming. It's going to be the White Sox have called up or have activated John Jay from the injured list and have promoted Luis Robert to AAA. Like,
that's a very good point. All
it's going to be the tweet.
That is a very white Rick Hahn thing to do. Like, we're going to piss a lot of people off with this John Jay bullshit. So let's just get let's get Luis up to AAA, and we'll just put it all in the one tweet. So when people quote tweet it or retweet it, they can't just be like, fuck.
That's a double down the line by Rizzo. Sorry.
Only when they score.
KB had already walked, so there's guys in second, there's nobody out already.
Only when they score, Kevin.
Sorry.
We live in a society, Kevin.
Kershaw keeps falling behind everybody.
Only when they score. But
I thought KB was going to go for it.
So as this deadline comes up, though, and the White Sox within this 500 range, I've seen a lot of articles from both sides of the coin, and I've seen articles that examine both sides. Our friend, our drunk uncle, Mr. Beefloaf over there at the 108, did a real good story. Oh, by the way, shout out to my 108 guys. Thanks for the koozie. This is pretty cool. But he did a really good, basically, and I agree with him here. If you're going to make the move, it needs to be I need a good, almost MLB-ready pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You need the pitching because, the offense has been okay, I guess, kind of. But that's starting pitching. You can't just have these random-ass guys come up and try to pitch every 5th day.
Right, and I guess Atlanta's got some kid. He's got a real funky name. Shit. I can't think of his name. I'll look it up. No, it's like Tukey or something like that.
Oh.
Tukey Carter?
No, it's like Tukey and then something really. But anyways, Beefloaf actually mentions him by name in the article as like a great guy for a trade for. We're talking about Coleman, just so everyone knows. That's the only piece of White Sox. That's
if the White Sox were smart, they'd be shopping Abreu.
Yeah, but
I don't know what you can get for like a 33-year-old first baseman / DH. But.
Who's probably going to who you only have till the end of the year, and he's probably going to run back to the White Sox as soon as the year's over.
This team's need a pinch hitter.
It's true. I'm going to look this kid up, though, in Atlanta. But what I'm saying is the White Sox are in a position where there's no veteran out there that I think gets them in the playoffs this year. That's going to be available. Like shout out to Emmett, one of our writers here, and he talked about possibly Encarnacion.
That'd be a great move.
Yeah, that'd be fine as long as you get rid of Yonder and Wellington.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Cubs just scored.
That's an air horn.
We gotta get a sound effect for that one. Yeah, bloop single from Contreras. Bloopy. You need a sound effect.
My reggaeton horn is not that good.
My reggaeton just
yours is a lot better than mine.
Let me do the reggaeton horn.
That is much better. Mine sounds like a dying duck or something. I don't know. the other problem with the Sox have is, I mean, I know we got excited, and it's not we.
There we go, because there's still a guy on third with less than 2 outs. Your boy Albert.
Albert's gonna ground out.
Let's score a run.
Let's see here. So we talked about the White Sox in that second wild card a couple weeks ago. Got really excited, maybe too far ahead of ourselves, but hey, we got to take some positives here. The thing is, there's just like a lot of teams ahead of them. And as much as like Cleveland sucked, like you would think with that talent on there. I mean, they don't have a lot of talent, but they have like 2 guys who have been MVP candidates in Lindor and Ramirez. Their rotation should be getting better.
Right.
And you think they're going to make some moves for the bullpen, but I mean, who knows with that fucking owner who's like, enjoy Lindor because he's going to be gone.
Right.
So who knows how aggressive they're going to be.
I saw not an article. Who's the bow tie guy? Shit.
Rosenthal.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name. All right, he was on MLB Network saying that the Indians might entertain the idea of trading Trevor Bauer to the Twins.
What?
Whoa. Take it easy.
Talk about a white flag trade. Like,
well, he brought that up. He said, the whole white flag thing, but then he brought up this whole, like, it's not like it used to be with trading within the division. Owners don't care about that shit anymore. And I guess the guy running the show that has a pretty crucial part, in player development and trades and shit in Minnesota came up with the Indians. So him and Bauer are like real tight and shit like that. Like, I don't know. That'd be wild. That'd be a wild ass trade.
I mean, the AL is wild right now. You have the Texas Rangers, who have the second wild card right now, 2 games ahead of Cleveland, Boston, Oakland, 3.5 ahead of the Angels and the White Sox.
Well, I mean, if the Indians are done too, he's probably not going to stay in Minnesota when this is over, right?
But how are you done if you're the Indians? Like their outfield.
They're the Indians.
Their outfield needs work. Like if they can get an outfielder, but
John Jay,
Jose Ramirez, Lindor, Carlos Santana's been doing. It's just like
Jesus. Addison just threw a bat into the Cubs dugout. Hit the photographer in the junk.
All right.
So the pitcher for the Braves is Tuki Toussaint.
Oh, that'd be that. I love it. Just to try to hear you say it every week.
Toussaint.
French?
Toussant.
Oh man.
Yep.
What I mean, they already have the big O. I don't know the big T. What?
Right, but it looks like he was a starter last year, and he's a bullpen arm for them this year.
I mean, get anyone that you think could contribute to the rotation this year, because.
No, I'm all. I mean, you're preaching.
Unless you're a big Dylan Covey believer, but
which in Nuke's absence, I will do this for him. Screw Dylan Covey.
By the way, it's telling that the Sox are just like calling out these journeyman 32-year-olds, the big O again.
Yeah.
Instead of giving Fulmer one more chance, like Fulmer's done.
Covey actually, his last 2 outings before he got hurt, he wasn't terrible.
Yeah, like that's the thing. He's like a 5th starter.
His slider, and it's because his slider was on. When his slider's on, he is a pretty good. He's gonna get you a quality start. And
he's on the injured list. And one thing I noticed, or that he said, I think, is that the White Sox need to like stop trying to hide these injuries.
Yeah,
if he just keep getting more injured. He was talking about how he kept like not getting really loose, and that this last time like it just wasn't the same. Rodon had the same thing since spring training. That
oh my god, that's terrible base running, Rizzo. Jesus.
So for all of you listening to the show on Friday morning, if you didn't get a chance to watch the Cubs game, you're hearing a very offset play-by-play the next day.
I can't watch because it's bad. Sorry, that was really bad. First and third play, pump fake to second, throw to third. Rizzo just got burned.
Ooh, nice.
So base running, we'll talk about, I guess.
Yep. But speaking of White Sox injuries, you got Yohan Moncada, who, as we record this and they're playing the Yankees, is missing another game because of what they're calling back tightness. And although you and I were talking about it before the show came on, as someone that has like really gnarly arthritis in their back, that's me because I flip golf carts and other things. Don't be an idiot, kids. It hurts later. We've had some weird weather in Chicago. Like today, Thursday, it was like 58 degrees and rainy all day. If you have arthritis or any tightness, that's going to get amplified times 10 in this weather. Like I could barely walk today. It was terrible. I look like a cripple. But I can totally understand why Yo was probably just like, not yet, not today. And he's got world-class doctors, trainers, facility. I got a chiropractor that's attached to a Starbucks. So, I mean, I'm not trying to compare myself to Yo, but I'm just saying, like.
How did he even get hurt? Was it a slide or something? What?
I think it's because of how hard he swings. I never did. That's not official. That's just a pure guess by me. But if you look, he's top, I think last I saw, top 7 in the league in average exit velocity. Like he swings the bat very, very, very hard, very fierce. And when you keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that, you're bound to tweak something. And I think we're actually getting lucky that it's just back tightness and it's not something worse. So I'll take it, take the rest. We're in the beginning of June. We're not a playoff team this year as much as they're exciting as all hell to watch. But I want Yo 100% next year.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you'll know if it's serious or not, if he goes on the injured list or not.
Right. Because, I mean, I guess one last transition well, hold on. Let's put a bow on the trade deadline stuff. We were talking about it before. Kevin, I know, because of this show and stuff, we've all been paying attention to the other team more than we usually do. But as a White Sox fan who, I'm knuckle deep into this stuff, it's just I think the move is to not make a move. I think they stand pat unless they get a MLB ready prospective starting pitcher for Colomine. I'm good. I'm sorry. The only other move that would get the Father Zoe stamp of approval is if you put 3 glorious letters on Yonder Alonso, DFA. Other than that, I don't think I need another move.
Well, you have to understand too. You don't want you're seeing the forest instead of staring at the individual tree. There's a bigger picture to this whole plan. We talked about bigger picture thinking today. Same with pulling up a guy like Cease. So soon, what's the rush? Figure out the trade. Get to the trade deadline. Sell what you got to sell to get what you got to get back, and wherever you're at. I mean, again, this long stretch right here, this is going to decide. I mean, I know. I mean, maybe I'm just an optimist, but what if the Sox come out and they finish above 500 in this stretch? Does that prove that they're worth maybe making a couple of tweaks to move and become buyers instead of sellers? And this is the buyer-seller stretch, I guess, maybe.
Right.
Where they're looking at if they do well here, maybe they make a move. But if not, sit down. Just you've built your farm system. You don't sell a damn thing. You just develop. And if bringing them up and letting them eat a little crap a little bit so they can figure it out, great. If keeping them down saves their options, keep them down. But don't waste the option just because it'll sell tickets either. That's a dumb idea. And don't buy because you're trying to make a fan base happy when really you stick to your plan.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that. Han has shown that he's not worried about making a fan base happy.
That's the thing. Like, what are they going to buy? Like, they need starting pitching. And, like, who are you going to trade? Like, you're not going to trade any of your, like, prospects, like, now.
You're not going to go for a 1 year.
They're not.
So, like, the Sox going away from your plan. There's nothing.
And, like, that's the thing, though. Rick Hahn is in the perfect spot because, like, no matter, like, unless literally the only thing he can do is, like, if he, like, overbuy, like, if he, for some reason, it's not like he's going to trade, like, Madrigal or Robert or somebody like that.
Well, we'll get to those glorious points.
But, like, the only thing that realistically that would help the team right now in terms of focusing on this year and only this year would be, okay, let's get some starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I mean, that's a lot of teams who are actually, like, already in the playoff picture. So I don't think Rick Hahn's going to be, like, getting to the table and, like, outbidding other teams for, like, a 4th pitcher.
No.
So Rick Hahn's just not going to do it. He's going to be fine. He's in a great spot. He's like, all right, if we don't do anything, we'll just play. We'll call up Cease. We'll call up some of these other guys later in the season. If they play good, great. If they don't, great. We're not supposed to compete anyway. And
This stretch is his excuse. This stretch is his excuse. If they show who the numbers say they are, then he doesn't have to make a move. But it really does throw a little bit of a cog or a little bit of a little wrench into the cog here if they go out there and they play well and they win.
If the White Sox actually cared about this year, they would have tried to get Keuchel, because that's a perfect guy where you only needed to pay him for this year. It's like, hey, maybe we hit lightning in a bottle. Some guys get hot. We get Keuchel. He comes in, becomes like with Giolito, who's having a career year, coming out of nowhere, best pitcher in the AL right now.
Hell yeah!
They saw this stretch coming though. Like they're probably like, hey, don't relax. Here comes June. That everyone's going to be all excited about beating the Royals. Here comes June, and now it's June. So what they do tonight and the next 14, 15 games, that'll be what decides it. But if they go 10-5, 10-6 or whatever, I don't fault them for thinking maybe they're better than they really might be.
Right. Trade for Tyler Chatwood. Need a starter?
Okay.
No.
He's been good.
No, just call up Dylan.
Oh, wait. Kevin's favorite left-hander, Mike Montgomery. You guys need a starter who's under team control?
No.
2 more years, Mike Montgomery.
Hard pass.
I would say that'd be an unfair trade.
World Series champion, Mike Montgomery. You don't want that experience on the side?
No.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, short story, Benjamin Button. No, you don't want him.
So speaking of, having horses in the stable, though, in the last 30 days, my guy, Nicky Madrigal, is slashing 351, 404, 474 with 2 home runs. Suck it, he doesn't have power, and 15 stolen bases. And that's not including the 3 for 3 he went tonight with 2 doubles. I mean, so Nicky went up.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Madrigal went up to Double-A. He's balling out, doesn't strike out ever, and it's getting national media attention now, which is awesome.
Right, Sox fans can't complain. They know the guys are getting national attention when Jeff Passan is tweeting out low strikeout rates.
Well, it's ridiculously low. He's got 6 strikeouts and 132 at bats or something.
I think it was White Sox Dave who said that, or he tweeted out how Madrigal had 3 strikeouts in the first 5 games. So that's 3 strikeouts in his last since the first week of April.
Yeah. So he's, and like we talked about, going up to Birmingham in that park that's known for killing power hitters, but guys like Madrigal, that is a perfect park for him. And he's just spraying all over the place. It's like a mini laser show. You know what I mean? I'm not calling him Dustin Pedroia. Slow down. But I'm just saying, you see flash.
He's Altuve. That's reason.
Well, yeah, because he's short. We get it. But it's just, and then La Pantera, Luis Robert, continues to dominate Double-A. Where when we talked about Juan Soto and jumping up from Double-A, and stuff like that, and I was like, I was joking around. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm starting more and more to be like, why the fuck not? I mean,
you can hit there, you can hit anywhere.
Right. And I mean, him and Madrigal is a 1-2 punch. If this is a glimpse of our future on the South Side, I'm a looking and I'm a liking. Because that is, come on, that's, the movies. Come on, Kevin, you know that one. But, yeah, that's a 1-2 punch that you could stick at the top of your order. That's speed and power and contact. So I'm good with all this.
Choose one. Untradeable. Choose one of the 2. No, not Robert and Madrigal, but Robert.
Won't do it. Nope.
You got to pick one. Only one is untouchable. Pick.
You're trying to King Solomon me right now. It's not happening. Don't cut the baby in half.
I traded Chris Bryant in the offseason. You can pick over Luis Robert or Eloy Jimenez.
That's true. You did trade Chris Bryant in the offseason.
I would still do it. Mike Trout for the next.
Oh, my.
Oh.
Kevin's watching the game again. He's not yelling at all, though.
No, not at all. Sorry.
Untradeable Luis Robert.
I mean, I don't think I can disagree.
Right. Again, they're both my children.
There's something.
They're both.
You don't have to
I
ever
know.
worry about that because they are untouchable. Like that's a mean question to ask a Sox fan. It's like, which testicle would you like to remove?
But the thing is, like, this is completely like it's not gonna make any sense because like we're talking about spring training and like the minor leagues, but there's just something about Robert, like this vibe around him. How he's just a star.
It factor.
Yeah, he has that like it. Like Eloy was putting up the numbers in like the minors, and he had the hype around him. And obviously, it was like that big trade with the Cubs. But like every time you see Robert, he's just every day it's something new.
And I brought this up on this show many times, and I want to talk about it again. White Sox fans, it's time to get serious. Turn up the volume on the show. If you're listening to it, it's time to get very serious.
Pace too.
We might. I know the GM in Birmingham. I've interviewed him a couple times. We DM every once in a while. I'm going to DM him. We might have a problem. Luis Robert eats copious amounts of Domino's pizza. Copious amounts of Domino's pizza. His Instagram story, he was laying in bed and put the camera on like a table at the edge of his bed. It was stacked 4 high.
How old is he again?
Like 21, I think.
Okay.
20.
What were you eating at 20? Because I remember I remember a $47 Taco Bell bill between two people. So, and I was skinny then. So, dude, that stuff's great. He should be the Domino's sponsor, even better. You've got yourself well, no, that doesn't fly in Chicago. Never mind.
Well, he's 21.
Chinos.
So that makes it even worse because when I was 21, I don't even want to. I ate a lot of alcohol. So
devoured it.
That led to a lot of other.
That led to the golf cart flip.
That actually led to that led to the horrible back. Now again, don't be stupid, kids, because when you grow up, it hurts.
Once the metabolism quits, done.
So we need to get Luis away from golf courses and golf carts.
Yes,
and Domino's pizza.
Dude, so much Domino's pizza. Follow him on Instagram and look at his stories. So much Domino's pizza. And he even knows it. When he was taking the video of him stacked high, he did like the emoji of the guy with his hand on his head, like, oh shit, I might have had a little bit too much here.
Maybe it's because he doesn't know what he should order. Someone maybe needs to like train him on how to use Postmates.
I mean, he's in Birmingham.
Uber Eats.
What are you? He's in Birmingham. What are you? You're not going to like a 5-star restaurant.
No, you could get Domino's, and then next night you can get like McDonald's. The next night you can get.
What's up? Didn't like Moncada?
That's gourmet to him. Come on.
Wasn't Moncada eating like hundreds of Twinkies like every week when he was like 20?
Yeah. Oh shit. I forgot about that.
Until they can't, don't tell them to stop.
Yeah, I mean Robert's still built like a complete brick shit house too. Like the dude is just chiseled. So it just makes me nervous. I'm nervous. I'm looking forward to these kids so much. I don't want to be eating tons of Domino's.
Nobody told Bartolo de Colon to stop eating Domino's.
Yeah.
And look at how that worked out.
You think Hideo Nomo isn't eating, just demolishing boxes?
Hideo Nomo looks like
absolutely.
Many of those sushi restaurants that have like the conveyor belt, he's put a couple of those out of business.
He just gets on the belt and just.
He is yeah. When Homer Simpson was in hell and the Kingdom Donuts, it's almost in there with them sushi rolls, just doing work. Seriously, we got to tweet that video out. People need to see how big he is, and he still did the full twist. That's what was amazing about it, was he still did the full twist it was fantastic. So let's talk about Kimbrel. Let's go to Northside. Let's talk about closers.
Well, you guys did see that. I posted a little video of it, the Swiss Sundance film of the family that watches the avalanche come crashing down, and the father actually, whose name is Tomas, which is even more ironic. Oh, we're fine. That is the entire month of March, April, and May for Tom Ricketts, and they finally went on. Now it took a little bit of a family issue with a fan favorite to get some of that money secured, but the Cubs literally have now maybe one of the best bullpens in baseball when it's their best 3 to close out the 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's a postseason bullpen.
Yeah,
I'd agree. I mean, there's a big signing. Of course, David Ross had to get involved. What a surprise!
No, I was gonna.
He's a bench coach.
David Ross is like a super scout.
Yeah.
Just told them about David Bodie like in spring training last year. David Bodie's been awesome since he was been called up. Went to because he used to catch Kimbrel.
Louis Garcia home run.
Your guy.
See, told you don't sleep on Louis. All right, go on.
David Ross, and then he used to catch him or with Atlanta maybe. I think it was Atlanta. So he was his catcher down there. Yep. So he went to his like special throwing like session when he was still working out with teams before he signed. Came back, or he told him personally, he's like, if I had the checkbook right now, I'd sign you. Yep. Like obviously they still need to make sure that Ben Zobrist was going to come back. Which, by the way, the Ben Zobrist might be coming back now. I don't know. That one's kind of weird. But you know the big thing now is like when is he going to come up? Everyone's saying like since the day he signed, it'd be like 2-3 weeks. So he should be up by like the final week of June at the latest at this point. Even though they're being smart about it because like as we saw earlier this week, when you like rush a guy back or you don't really tell the entire story of someone's injury with Kevin Durant, like you don't want to put the guy back early.
That sucks so bad.
So like the Cubs aren't just going to be like rushing this guy back, even though like it would have been nice if he would have been here.
I will say,
but
let him get ready.
Kimbrel and Keuchel, both of them are ahead of schedule. Both of them are already showing. Like Keuchel's just
pitched like 7 shutout innings. Like what?
The idea of letting these guys extend out is bullcrap anyway. First off, especially as a closer, if Kimbrel hasn't been throwing a bullpen almost every day since the day that everyone else has, he's the worst pro ever.
Well, he is. I mean,
it's like saying, "Oh, can you shoot free throws?
Yeah,
have you been shooting your free throws? Like, come on. The dude's been throwing his pens. It's about just again being able to extend him. I think that's kind of it a little bit for show. Some of it's to show, hey, we took our due diligence. We gave him enough time to get ready. The dude's ready now. If he's not ready now, he's a terrible pro. I'm sorry. You've been throwing a bullpen every friggin' day. Following a regiment every day.
He's just lied to everyone. All the scouts that were looking at him just completely lied. Like, I mean, he said that he was throwing a TCAT. He's like Jack right now, working out every day, just going to a high school.
You could throw a bullpen. That's what I'm saying. You could throw a bullpen anywhere. It's 60 feet 6 inches. If you're a badass pro, everything else is he could throw his iPod on.
Here's the thing. There's a difference between throwing a bullpen, which he said he's done, and like actually throwing to hitters in a game situation.
You simulate games. You simulate situations. You simulate what the numbers say. It's not that hard to simulate that even. It's not
like but it's not like he has anything available. He was just going to a high school. It's not like he has just 18 guys around that can like play a game with him.
Doesn't need a guy. He needs a scenario. You run the search. You run the situation. You run the phone dial. You literally play the grid. You say, hey, this guy hits. I'm facing so and so in this count. What does he do? 0-2. In this circumstance, you can actually pull up those numbers. He's got access to everything. He's not like he's like cut off from numbers.
But it's the difference between just simply with like no one around, between actually having a guy in the box, actually being in a game situation.
You can throw your earbuds on, and again, it doesn't. If you're a pro, I think if you're a pro, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're throwing in a high school,
not a pro
in the Game 7 of the World Series.
I don't really get this argument right now.
It's the same. It's the same place. It's the same distance. I don't buy. He doesn't have a guy in the box. No, he's throwing the locations. That's all.
Hitting in the cage is the same as just hitting in front of a crowd.
Not the same thing. It's location. You're working on location. If a catcher calls here, you throw it there. In the game, guess what? The guy behind the dish knows the guy that's up in the box. He's going to call location. You're not shaking him off. He's going to call location based on the scouting report. So hit your spots. Kimbrel doesn't need to know everybody else. Kimbrel needs to know how to hit number 9 on the grid when number 9 is called, number 1 when number 1 is called. If he can't hit that, then he's not ready to be in the show anyway. He's not ready to pitch. It's not his job to call the game. It's his job to hit his spot.
I'm sorry, like actually doing it in the game. He was like just practicing with high school kids.
But it doesn't matter what you hit. You're talking about the results. You're worried about results.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking about him like working back up to in a situation where
he's going to throw to the same spot that's called at the high school level at a high school. If he's going to,
he's not facing batters.
It doesn't matter.
Like he's not swing.
But he's going to throw to the same spot.
Okay, who just scored again?
No one. I just wanted you to shut up.
If Baristall's low and in, he's going to throw low and in. It doesn't matter what the guy in the box does. He's not in charge of that. He just throws
Yeah. What Kevin's saying is location is location is location. Doesn't matter who, what, where, when.
Yeah.
All those saying is it's a little bit different when you're on a high school mound versus when you're on Wrigley Field in the bottom of the ninth trying to close out a game versus the fucking Brewers.
That's about being a pro, though. That shouldn't matter.
But it does. But
Not a pro.
Not everybody.
I mean, if that's the case, then you should hate the signing, then, right?
No, I love it. I think he's great. I think
You're just saying he should be ready now, and if he's not a pro. That's what you're saying.
What I'm telling you right now is he's probably ready. I'm saying that the Cubs are going to do their due diligence because if they bring him back too soon and something happens, he doesn't do well. They're going to say you brought him back too soon. They're doing their due diligence on the actual investment.
Because normally players would say because we all know that when players are injured or whatever. But even he's like, I need. It's not like you said I can go right now. He's like, I know when I'm ready.
He could go. He could go right now and be better than the entire Cubs bullpen right now. Let's be truthful. Let's be honest.
Probably, but if not, he hasn't what you're going off of, then this terrible move. He's not a pro. He's not ready because he's not ready.
Pretty sure he's ready, and I'm pretty sure he's just saying what he's supposed to say.
Not a pro.
He should have been ready to jump up on a snap of a finger, and that's what he probably is. But they're going to do the due diligence because they want to see. And there's other things that are also at play as far as options and roster movement.
By the way, at his press conference, he came out. I've never really heard him talk before, whatever. And normally when you think of pitchers and closers, I don't know, assholes maybe, or for some reason I had this little John Lackey thing that I thought Craig Kimbrell had. Just came off as a nice guy, cool guy.
That's his process, though. I think I messaged you guys about that. He turns it on with that stare. The stare is his on switch.
Yeah, that's his. Yeah.
And that is.
Oh, is that when he does the pterodactyl arm?
He does a little Mike Fetter shit. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've actually talked to some of our other coaches. I'm I love the idea that he can be a nice guy. He can be your best friend, but when it's time to work, he has a routine. He has something that he goes through every single time. And that's what I'm talking about. There should be no difference between a high school mound and Game 7 of the World Series. When you're in your routine, it doesn't matter. And he does that probably in his bullpens when he's been throwing them every time. And he does that in every appearance as a ball player every time. And I just love the fact that he has a routine. I don't care if it's weird. I don't care if he rubs his glove between his neck and wiggles his ear. I don't care if he does Nomar Garciaparra batting gloves. I'm
very glad you went with the neck because you looked in another area.
I did probably think about rubbing his yeah. But I'm just saying, routine is your routine. And I love that he has something that really does chime him in. He's a good dude. He's not Rob Dibble, who has to be a dickhead every moment. He goes out there and when it's time to work, he has an on switch. And that's a pro. That's a pro to me. And that's something that's why I say if he's not ready right now, he's not a pro, and he is a pro. He's ready right now.
And the latest on him is he threw to live batters in Arizona. He's in extended spring training. Threw 24 pitches Thursday. He threw at Wrigley Field last Saturday. He's going to throw another live BP this weekend. And then after that, he should be heading out to the minors. He's probably going to go to Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa.
At the end of next week. Couple outings there. And then he should be up at the club right after.
July 1st, minimum?
Yeah, no, I think at this point, definitely before July. I think let's see. They have the Braves in starting the 24th. So maybe bring him back and see the old team get that adrenaline up.
And he'll get some love there too, because he didn't betray them. They like him there in Atlanta.
Yeah,
it's gonna be at Wrigley. So I mean, you get to at home crowd.
I prefer road appearances for the debut. I don't know why.
Either way,
do that with hitters.
True.
Either way, it's just as an outsider looking in here. That's just like you said earlier. I think the biggest point out of all this is the Cubs have a postseason bullpen now.
Yep.
And it was a huge go and get for Theo. Although you've even wrote about you don't think Theo's done.
And they haven't been shy about they haven't denied that they're gonna try to get a lefty because right now we have no one's favorite Mike Montgomery. Not
that's such a great introduction. Right now we have no one's favorite. That's a great.
That's not true. There's a retirement community out on the south side that would say, "Hey, please come here."
Hey, no.
Mike Montgomery, Kyle Ryan.
They're called the Hot Dogs. Is that what they're called? It's Carlos Zambrano's team.
No, that's right. No, they're on the north side, I think.
Oh, the north side.
They're Wisconsin, but they have Montgomery, Kyle Ryan, who I don't need to watch either of them.
And hold on, I'm going to do it. This one's especially meaningful.
Hey, B-Bomb.
Kershaw. And Kershaw is the one pitcher he has said that he does not like to face the most.
Why?
He's flat out said it. Hardest pitcher to ever hit. And he just hit a jack off him. That makes me happy.
Chris Bryant.
Good for you.
All-star. By the way, hot take I saw from a Yankees fan on Twitter today. There's some poll, I think it's from MLB.com or MLB on Twitter. It was like, who should be the starting third baseman in the All-Star game in the National League? Chris Bryant was one of the options, and a Yankees fan is like, Chris Bryant's not even top 5 third baseman in the National League. Wrong.
That's just. I'm glad you preferenced it not once but twice with Yankees fan. So that's all I needed to hear.
It's like a disclaimer almost.
Yeah.
But getting back to the bullpen help, they're not done because again they have Mike Montgomery and Kyle Ryan who just inspired no confidence at all when they come out. Mm-hmm. So they need another lefty.
San Francisco, right?
San Francisco, who's been like Bruce Levine, Zoe's guy, has been reporting since the middle of April that they've been scouting the Cubs.
Great grab.
And so they're trying to get either there's Will Smith or Tony Watson from the Giants. There's Sean Doolittle from the Nationals. The Nationals, by the way, I was going to talk about this a couple of weeks ago, but the Nationals are the perfect example of how if you're a Cubs fan, you don't take this era for granted. Because you look at the Nationals they've had as talented of a roster, and they haven't won.
Their pitching staff, God,
and they haven't come close to winning shit. So
nope.
I'm happy every day that the Cubs didn't.
If the Nationals can keep playing the White Sox, they'll be in the World Series.
Does it? And you just made a great point, dude. Aldo, do you wake up sometimes and go, we're living in the golden era of baseball? Like,
I don't think people realize that.
It's like waking up and being taking every breath for granted. It's like, oh, I woke up today. No, hello, not guaranteed. And this is, again, and when you look at that's what everyone should probably do is look at old Facebook posts. Problem with the younger generation. When you find old Facebook posts and you're like, I'm so glad the Cubs just picked up this guy. It's a great center fielder. His name's Corey Patterson. He's going to change the franchise.
I think one of the first things I ever put on Facebook about the Cubs was how excited I was that they got Matt Garza in a trade. Before 2010, I think. It was like, hey, the prospects are just prospects. They're trying to win. They needed a guy in the rotation. Matt Garza has been pretty good in the past. Sure, why not?
I got a good one about trading Garza they got Rizzo, right? No, that was what was Cashman with Rizzo. There was to lock Rizzo up or go get Rizzo. It's trade Garza at all costs if it means getting this Rizzo kid. He was the kid that went from Boston to.
Not wrong. I mean, you weren't wrong.
It wasn't too bad, but we're in the golden era. We're lucky. It's sustained success that Theo promised. Sustained success is patience and it's draft, but it is proof that you have to do it through the draft.
And I wrote about how Will Smith he's the Giants closer right now and he's been awesome the last couple of years, so he's going to cost more. But hey, if Theo wants to be aggressive, and I said maybe don't trade one of your top pitching prospects because the Cubs haven't developed any of them since Theo took over. But hey, if it takes a guy no, I still wouldn't do Alzolay, but that Marquez guy, that 20-year-old lefty, if it takes him, sure.
And we saw in the draft this year, Theo has dynamically altered the game of baseball. Prior to his strategy of getting mature college hitters, prior to that, it was draft arms. You're going to get a good position player, maybe midway, a couple 5 or 6 picks into the first round. But it was always draft arms first. And he said, fine, you draft your arms. I'm going to grab our best. I'm going to grab the best hitters we can get. And look what happens. He can't take credit for Javi. That was Jim Hendry. But
I was going to give him all the credit for Javi because the Javi developed under the new.
He did, but Javi is a freak, man. The kid was going to be a superstar.
But he was pretty good, though.
They saw what they saw. The scouting bureau did a good job there. But
Jim Hendry.
He changed how. Now look at what were the first picks this year in the draft? How long until a pitcher actually went? How long has it been since the first round of a draft? An arm went what, 8th or 9th? And so we sit here and we're seeing the fruits now of what Theo has really done, and that's people get they crap on him, and it's not just Theo, obviously, it's his whole staff, it's everybody, and we're living in the golden era. We're lucky, we're so lucky. Like, sorry, Zoe, I know it hurts.
By the way, but wait, let's go with the high note with the Sox. Going back to a little draft talk, you guys got who? It was that Vaughn kid, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. You guys are about to enter that era.
Yep.
Zoe, how do you feel about it?
Andrew Vaughn, first baseman out of University of California. A lot of people, I trust their opinions in the Big J Journal world and MLB Network and just Twitter and stuff. Everyone says he's the best hitter in this draft. Okay, and a lot of them have said like White Sox can call him up tomorrow and he'd be ready to hit major league pitching. Which slow down, like, okay,
mature bats.
Very mature bats. I really liked his post-draft interview when, they were talking about his style of baseball and things like that. And they go, "What do you like to do for fun? Like, what do you like to do outside of baseball?" And he just looks and like smiles and he goes, "I just really love to hit.
Get off the tee.
I love hitting. I just love to hit." And I was like, I love this dude. So he's a first baseman, 100%. Some people floated around third base and outfield where any reputable scout kind of laughed at that, like, just slow down. This kid plays first base, and that's where it begins and ends. Maybe he'll be a good DH. But
Sox needs to lobby for a second DH in the AL.
Does it make you feel better, too, to know that he's the kind of guy that on a Friday night, he might crush some beers, but you know what he's doing while he's crushing beers? Hitting off the tee in his garage.
Yep.
He's crushing beers and hitting off the tee. Like, that kind of guy you want on your team. You want that guy in your lineup. You want a guy that's a hitting savant.
So the Sox still haven't signed him yet. His estimated value in that draft slot is probably 7.2.
Jerry's got to get rid of Zach Levine's contract first.
I think they'll probably start him off, and this is 100% guess. Yeah, Winston-Salem.
Yep.
Throw him in there. You know who's killing it in Winston-Salem right now? Steele Walker. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Can I say this? I think that I believe that he will be at AA before the season ends this year. Based on what I've seen and the people that I talk to, the dude is that good a hitter. Like, he's that mature of a hitter. He will be someone that, like, well, maybe let him get him the last 30 days here. Let him see some maybes. Get him like 60 at bats at AA. He may end up there.
The big thing
Arizona Fall League, though.
As a White Sox fan, they made the right move.
Yep.
They made the safe, correct pick. They didn't try to be the smartest guys in the room. They didn't try to, we can do this with this guy. And no, they made the right pick. And then, uncharacteristically, the Sox drafted a bunch of guys in the mid and late rounds. They traded a bunch of big upside guys, and they were nailing it. Everyone's favorite guy, Keith Law, but a bunch of other people were even saying how they were very impressed with the White Sox drafted a kid with graded 80 speed. Kid's faster than Luis Robert.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they went out and got guys that last year, 2 years ago, they wouldn't have even been on the Sox draft board. They went out and drafted these kids. So,
do you know who the joke of this draft will be? The Marlins and the Tigers. Honestly, they passed on C.J. Abrams.
Right.
That was also the sure four.
Right.
That was a sure four. They tried to get crafty. So down one for the team in the division, down one for the team that likes to trade their talent to other teams because they never, I don't even know, like the Christian Yelich thing, still angry, salty. Should never be.
Yeah, no, overall, I was very happy with the White Sox draft this year, which is a sentence I haven't said maybe ever. So I was.
Do you not like the Jake?
Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan.
Right, and they did, and they realized that the previous years they've gotten, like Nick Madrigal's looking like a pretty good pick. They've gotten one or two, but this is like a very complete draft, and I'm very satisfied as of now. We'll see how these kids turn out. Vaughn could turn out. You can get the yips, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's the way it goes in this game. It's just.
I'll say this though, Zoe. in this day and age, with the numbers that we have and the ability to scout the way that we do, there are going to be fewer and fewer late round Grand Slams. It really is going to come. The early rounds now in the Major League Draft, based on how we can compile data and footage and scout the way that it's done now, you really, the top 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds are actually the most vital rounds now. It used to be back in the day, you can hit a guy in the 45th round and they turn into a stud. I just don't think that's going to happen anymore, because you got the numbers, you got the data now. The data is just so free and fluid. You can't. So I think by the Sox hitting a Grand Slam with their early rounds, especially, I think that puts them in a position to succeed.
I agree. The analytics and statistics and everything is made way better to these scouts and everything. It's just when you start dealing with drafting high school kids, there's still that unknown measurable. You know what I mean? Like between his senior year of high school and his sophomore year of college, like
man meat.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Like there's a lot of things that can happen. So that's like the only intangible, I guess, I can think of that they can't scout for right now. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. That's why you get local guys on the ground. Again, how good is your regional? Do you have good placement in the hotbeds for baseball? California, Florida, Texas, especially. I love Illinois a lot, but it's not the place for baseball. But Vegas, pretty damn good place for baseball.
Top 10 this draft.
Yeah, Georgia this year. You got a lot of good places. You just got to make sure you have a good scouting bureau in those locations, and you're not going to miss on a high school kid. Back in the day, it wasn't focused as much, but you also got to know like who these kids are. What kid is a douchebag too? Like, because there are some kids that got drafted a little higher that have a reputation as being turd buckets.
Right.
Vaughn was not one of those. Vaughn was a guy that has a high credibility rating with people saying he plays the game right. He's a hard worker. He's a good student. He's a respectful dude. He's not a doucher. He doesn't have a doucher and there are some douchers in there. So, like, again, people chase talent. Some people don't. I think the Marlins and the Tigers chased a little bit of talent, and they got some 10-cent heads. Joey Gallo got passed over by a lot of people too, and because he went to play to Gorman, where kids kind of used to play like turkeys, and he did not. But the people around him were turkeys, and they won because they were good. But Gallo got passed over, I think, too much, actually.
Mm-hmm. And with all that being said, I want the Cubs to trade for Will Smith.
That was the name. Will Smith, or what's the dude on Nationals? Doolittle.
And that's the thing. Like, Will Smith's going to cost more, and obviously, if you get him, then you have like
a stack.
Fucking fuck you, Brewers.
Right.
The Cubs have like the better bullpen. But obviously, he's going to cost more. So like they also have Tony Watson. He's been pretty decent. He's like he'll be like more of the seventh inning guy. But I mean, he's been really great. Doolittle, he's been kind of struggling, but like, hey, you can trust a guy who's been in big spots before. You can go get him, maybe.
But Doolittle's great on Twitter too.
Just need a holder. You need someone that can handle a split moment. That's what you need now at this point. With that 7, 8, 9, you need a split guy, a guy that can come in a situation, get one out. Mm-hmm. Great focus.
Just get
just get to Kimbrel. That's all you got. It's a race to Kimbrel at this point. Yes. And the beautiful part about him joining the organization too is that Joe Madden also can look at his run scoring. Like, at what point do you play for a run an inning? What point do you let your guys swing it? What point do you say, hey guys, we need to manufacture a little bit? And with that ninth inning basically solidified with one of the most historically, at least over our generation, one of the better closers we've seen. You're really just trying to play up to the 8th inning, and Joe Madden's playing at an advantage now. It's like taking a whole layer off your chessboard and just throwing it into the trash and saying, here, now, what do we got to figure out? So now you could probably expect the Cubs to figure out what they're going to do in the 6th, 7th, 8th. That's it. It's now competition for those spots and those roles. Strope, obviously, great, usually. Who gives a shit about his hat? Adam, we'll talk about that. But and then you've got, obviously, despite Brandon Kinsler hitting him in the goddamn kneecap
today in a barrier,
Stevie, and then you've got Kinsler, and the dude Kinsler can get some outs. That's another
good. He's been getting results this year.
He's not going to have to be there when it matters most.
Right. That's the big thing.
That makes him effective. That gives, again, there's an additional writing that again, the guy eats tacos, mini tacos like a champion too, but that's a good place to have. So now you got to figure out that one more lefty for that matchup moment.
It's like how we talked
about a good splitter.
It's like we talked about when Strop was out. It's like, hey, Steve Cishek was great for the Cubs last year. He started out great for the Cubs this year, but like you don't really want Steve Cishek being your closer. And then you get Strop back. It's like, all right, he's been pretty good. He did a damn great job filling in for Morrow last year. He's had a couple hamstring injuries, so he's like kind of easing back in. I don't think they're really trying to work him on back-to-back days. It's like, hey, Pedro Strup's been like most consistent reliever for the Cubs for the past 5-6 years.
Yep.
He's been great. You just make him better, like if he only has to pitch the 8th inning.
Right.
And then it goes down the line. Then Cishek can take the 7th. You don't have to put Carl Edwards Jr. in a big spot. And he's on the injured list now, but like his role gets like minimized. And hey, he can still be effective. He can still be a guy who you can count on, but you don't have to count on him in like a 1-run game in the 8th because now you have Kimbrel waiting in the 9th. Like you can just go to Strop, you can go to Cishek in those spots.
Can Morrow will Morrow come back this year?
I know. For any fan like thing that for a split second after they announced his injury or his surgery in the offseason, I'm like, all right, they're saying maybe like he'll come back in May. But once he had this setback, no, there's no way you can like count on him coming back.
What happens if he comes back in September?
If he comes back in September, you just see what you have. But I'm not at this point. I'm not counting on him at all for anything. If he comes back, great.
Like so,
awesome.
you're basically doing the playing with house money thing at that point. That's a house money thing. If he rolls up with house money, though, God bless. Can you get us to 5 at that point?
Right. I mean, if they get another like a solid, like it'd be different if they do just get, because like the guys I'm talking about, like a Watson guy, a Smith guy, those are guys who like can pitch complete innings.
I think the Cubs need one more lefty.
But if they just get like a lefty and like an Aaron Bummer type even from the White Sox,
or Chasen Shreve from the Cardinals organization. Sorry.
Like if you just get
righties out at an exponential rate. Sorry.
Like if you get those guys, you still have like 7, 8, 9 with Cishek, Strop, and Kimbrel. But if you get like another elite lefty, then you're like the 2015 Royals.
Yeah.
Where like after 5 innings, game's over.
And you know what that does? It keeps everybody really fresh for the postseason. Because let's be truthful, throwing every day is not a chore. Throwing extended innings and stressful situations is a chore. And if you can have guys that can throw, again, because with the starting pitching, the rotation the Cubs have, you're going to have to go to the bullpen too early, maybe once every 5 starts. You've got a bullpen that goes into the postseason that's actually mentally fresh and emotionally fresh and physically pretty fresh. And you get guys back again like a Morrow I'm holding a little bit of a.
I mean, I hope so, but
but you add more to this thing. You got a starting pitching staff that has to get 5.
Hopefully it's a lot different from 2016 when Joe had like no confidence in anyone besides Chapman, and that's why he was pitching 2 innings every game.
Overdid. So, he threw the die. He threw the die when he got Montgomery out there. Like that was, like, and now we're seeing that they saw that number, but he was like, why not? What else do we have? But now it's Benjamin Button.
Shit. All right, guys. Well, we're up on time right now. Kelvin Herrera just struck out the side in the top of the 8th, which is welcomed because he's been not good lately. So to have him.
So is Colome going to close it down? Get that trade value up?
That's the idea. So, all right, everybody. But make sure you're following us at Pinwheels Ivy Pod on Twitter. All of our handles are in the bio. Talk to us on Twitter. We're always looking for good ideas and stuff like that for the show. And until then, that's K-Fids. That's Aldo. I'm Zoe. And we will see you guys next week.